Hello and welcome to the AgriHQ Livestock Insight Report update brought to you by the AgriHQ analysts. I'm Sarah Friel.
And I'm Nicola.
We're just going to really quickly run you through last week's North Island and South Island Livestock Insight Report. And last week, Nicola, you took a look at where China's sitting in the market at the moment.
Yeah, so quite positive things to report about the Chinese economy. It's really sitting out on its own in terms of the COVID recovery and also economic confidence. So we're seeing some strong commodity prices there throughout the markets, and that's definitely driving some good export lamb returns. We're a little less confident about the beef, and that's because of the alternative suppliers that China has there for beef. But all in all, looking pretty positive, and was really happy to put that in the report. And took a look at the weather situation, which is, how do we say, a little less positive?
Yeah, a little less positive. From the North Island side of things, everywhere is still looking fairly green from that dumping of rain we had about 2 weeks ago now, I think it was. But the soil moisture is still struggling. Water tables are not where where some areas would expect to see them by this time in autumn. It's really just how much feed do people have ahead of them for the next week, because we're not really seeing a lot of rain in the forecast due to that really strong high we've got hanging above New Zealand in the moment.
Yeah, we're down here in the South Island, looking pretty dry, to be fair, unless you're on the western side, western Southland and the west coast. A lot of farmers, bit of a mixed approach actually in terms of how much people are panicking about it. But on the hills, you're seeing, especially around here in Otago, seeing some burnt hills. So it's a sign of how serious things are getting. And the tightening slaughter space in both cattle and sheep was also a testament to how tight things were getting. And we saw some prime lambs hitting the sale yards as farmers looked for opportunities to offload rather than wait out for a booking. But looking at the North Island, maybe there'll be some opportunities for South Island stock up there, Sarah?
Yeah, there's potential for that. Lamb supply is falling away somewhat, which is just typical for this timing, really. And cattle supply as well is a little bit slower than processors initially anticipated for this time, because the cows have just not come through yet. What we were initially hearing was processors were kind of expecting those to come on board in March. But of course, that really strong dairy payouts keeping them on farm, and it's now kind of April, May that we're expecting those to come forward. But on the flip side of that, a softer supply isn't really irking processors too much, because we're still really tapped out with storage space in the North Island. So, I think even with the softer supply, we're seeing some capacity come off in places just so we're not overloading storage at this stage.
Yeah. It's a touch of storage issues down here in the South Island, but the lower South Island seem to be pretty confident. What's going on in the North Island store markets?
North Island store markets, the cattle are pretty quiet still. That market's been fairly subdued in terms of prices, and because of that supply, people just aren't really feeling that pressed to offload for the money that's available right now, particularly in parts of the King Country, and Wairoa is probably one of the better places to be in terms of feed right now, so people are pretty happy to sit steady there for now. Lamb side of things, we saw quite a lift going back about 2 weeks now off the back of really strong demand and prices at Fielding. And that was really because Hawke's Bay entered the market again to get into their second lot of trading, which was pretty exciting. How much that is held up by some pretty strong winter trade prices coming through at the slaughter side of things will be interesting to see this week, but we are anticipating that there could be a bit more fire in that market again.
Yeah. Down here in the store market, the cattle side of things, if we weren't talking weaners, there wasn't a lot to talk about. Pretty sluggish market out there in terms of low confidence around slaughter returns and low confidence around feed. The weaner prices, however, I thought they were pretty strong given the wider market. Was pleased with them. Over $3 for steers was achievable. Those were the first couple of sales though. We'll see how that holds out for the rest of the market and whether there's an outlet for all these weaners. I'm sure there's extra people out there thinking, I could put some weaners if I'm worried about feed. In the lamb side of things, there was some fussiness entering the lamb market, but still strong despite the dry. Definitely, prices were definitely not coming down, but we were seeing some pickiness around weights. The very lighter lambs and the heavier lambs were some quibbling over prices, but the rest were fairly steady. Looking to what we were excited about for this week's report, quite interested to see how these winter contracts, which were available in the North Island, South Island, quite interested to see how they affect the store markets and the processor reactions. The weaner market's going to be interesting to see how they hold up. What else is going to be in that report?
We'll be taking a look at Australia, won't we, with the flooding and what impact that's going to have on cattle markets over there?
Yep, Australia that makes for some interesting Googling this morning. The very, very dire situation over there on the East Coast. And we'll be looking at lamb margins or trading margins for winter lamb and for these weaners that are being sold at the moment. So all that will be in your inbox on Friday if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, head along to agrihq.co.nz and get yourself sorted out.